Shalom, Yasharala, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give Kal Halal Yahweh, Bahasham, Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. That is to say, all praise to Yahweh, in the name of the anointed Yahweh Shai. Yahweh being the name of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shai being the name of the man that the world ignorantly calls Jesus. So we're going to get into Torah Monday number 2. You know, these days go by so quick. It's Monday already again. Before you know it, it's going to be the Sabbath day. These days just keep getting quicker and quicker. That's how you know we're racing towards the end. So I've got a couple of opening precepts this week, which are probably going to continue to be the case as we go on. So I want to start with Deuteronomy chapter 6 verse 17. And this is a commandment as well. This is the law. It says, "Ye shall diligently keep the commandments of the Lord your God, and his testimonies and his statutes which he hath commanded thee." So it's not just enough that we're commanded to do these things, but we're commanded to do them diligently. To diligently check that packaging for pork. To diligently, make sure you don't accidentally mar your beard. To diligently make sure you're not coveting. To diligently examine yourself. Right? We're commanded to diligently keep these commandments. So it's not just that we've been commanded, but we've been commanded to keep the commandments diligently. So it's that serious. So when people, especially like today, there was someone in the comments, they like to claim that we shouldn't keep the law and the law's done away with. No, it's too serious for that. This is Joshua chapter 1 verse 8. "This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein, for then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success." Right, see, when Joshua is saying this, he's not just talking out of his own vain opinion or anything like that. He is quoting the law, much of the law. One part that I know he is making reference to is Deuteronomy chapter 6 verse 4. Okay. "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord," 4 and onwards, Salakia. "And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thine heart and with all thy soul and with all thy might. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, when thou liest down, and when thou risest up." Right? So he's basically saying we need to talk about them all day. Not every single conversation, but you need to talk about it when you lie down, when you rise up, when you go out, when you sit down. You need to make mention of the law a lot and study in this law every day. Right? That's why it goes on to verse 17 to say we should diligently keep the commandments. Verse 8 says, "And thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thine hand, and they shall be as frontlets between thine eyes." Right? So that goes into, they need to be in your mind, that's the between your eyes, and they need to be on your hand, as in you do them, it's your works. Right? That's what that signifies. When it says, it's not saying write them on your hand or write them between your eyes. No, it's to do with them being in your mind and being in your works. Right? That's what it's talking about when it says, "And thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thine hand, and they shall be as frontlets between thine eyes." It means you've got to have them in mind and you've got to do them too. So those are my opening precepts. Let's get to the chapter I want to read today. Leviticus chapter 12. It's a nice short and sweet one. It says, "And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, If a woman have conceived seed, and born a man-child, then she shall be unclean 7 days. According to the days of the separation for her infirmity shall she be unclean." Right? So for for 7 days, after a woman births a baby boy, for 7 days she'll be considered unclean. So she needs to be in a separate bed to you. She needs to be separated, right? And spend 7 days separate, because she's unclean for 7 days. So she needs to have 7 days of separation, where her and the child will be separate from everyone. She's not going to sleep in the same bed as you. Obviously, if we get Judges chapter 5, because this isn't always possible. Right? Remember, we have magnified mercy now, but don't just take that and say, "Oh well, we got mercy, so if you can do it, then do it." You don't just say, "Oh, we have mercy, so I can do it, but I don't want to, so let's just not bother." No, you shall diligently keep the commandments, right? So if you can do it, then do it. But if you can't, Let me get Judges chapter 5. Judges chapter 5 verse 11. They that are delivered from the noise of archers in the places of drawing water, there shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord. I'll read that bit again. It says, there shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord. So while we're in captivity, we can't do this thing to the fullest, you know. There's a lot of feast days where we can't work. Not everyone can get those days off work. You know, there's a lot of these things. You know, a lot of the food is defiled, even though they say it's not. Or cases like this where maybe you can't keep your wife separate for 7 days after she has a man-child. That's just being in captivity. We can only do so much, but if you can do it, then do it. Right? That's the bottom line. If you can do it, then do it. But if you can't do it, we have mercy. The Lord knows we're in captivity and we can't fully exercise our laws because this wicked world is set up against us. Everything is set up against the commandments. That's why, for example, the example I often make is the work week. You finish work on a Friday for the week. Maybe a lot of the time you get paid on a Friday, so you get that Friday feeling. Now you go out that night and defile the Sabbath, right? It's set up that way so that you do that, right? That's why they do it like that. It's no coincidence why it's set up that way. That's why the Catholic Church changed the Sabbath day to Sunday, right? Yeah, we rehearse the righteous acts, but if you can, then you're supposed to do this. I'll read that verse again. Leviticus chapter 12, verse 2. Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, if a woman have conceived seed and born a man-child, then she shall be unclean 7 days. According to the days of the separation for her infirmity shall she be unclean. So she's unclean for 7 days, right? It says, and in the 8th day, the flesh of his foreskin shall be circumcised. So we're supposed to circumcise our child the 8th day. Guess what? This is where it goes into rehearsing the righteous acts also, because my family didn't know our heritage, so I wasn't circumcised the 8th day. You know, if we didn't have Christ, I'd be cut off. The judgment for not being circumcised the 8th day is you're cut off from your people. But now, like Paul said, roughly paraphrasing, he said, if ye be circumcised after the manner of Moses, Christ profit you nothing. They take that verse and say, see, you shouldn't be circumcised. No, he's saying, if you were circumcised the 8th day, good for you. You don't need Christ for that purpose. But if you're an adulterer, you need him for that. But he's not saying you shouldn't be circumcised. He's saying, if you were circumcised after the manner of Moses, good, you got it right. The people who Christ will profit in that area are the people who didn't, because according to the law of Moses, they're cut off. But now that Christ came, they get a chance to get it right this time, get circumcised and carry on. But once again, circumcision is expensive. There's all kinds of reasons why you might not be able to do that in this captivity, but we're rehearsing the righteous acts. So once again, it boils down to if you can do it, then do it. If you can't, then, you know, that's between you and Yahweh. By Hashem HaMashiach, Yahweh Shai. You need to figure something out, but, you know, he has mercy, and his mercy is great. So, but in the 8th day, we're supposed to be circumcised, right? So when I have my son, Lord willing, he'll be circumcised the 8th day. So, verse 4 says, and she shall then continue in the blood of her purifying 33 days. She shall touch no hallowed thing, nor come into the sanctuary until the days of her purifying be fulfilled. So she's supposed to be purifying for 33 days, right? Continuing on from that 8th day circumcision, okay? And she's not supposed to touch any hallowed thing, right? She's not supposed to come into the sanctuary, anything like that, for 33 days after. It says, but if she bear a maid child, then she shall be unclean 2 weeks, as in her separation, so 14 days. And she shall continue in the blood of her purifying 66 days, right? So she'll be purifying for 66 days. She can't touch any hallowed thing or go into the sanctuary for 66 days. That's 66 days. A score is 20. So 3 score is 2, 4, 6, 60 and 6 days, so 66 days. And when the days of her purifying are fulfilled, for a son or for a daughter, she shall bring a lamb of the first year for a burnt offering, and a young pigeon or a turtle dove for a sin offering unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation unto the priest. So after her purifying is finished, whether it was a son or a daughter, she's to bring a lamb, right? She's supposed to bring a lamb of the first year for a burnt offering, so a 1-year-old lamb for a burnt offering, and a young pigeon or a turtle dove for a sin offering, right? And offer them to the priest who will offer, give them to the priest who will offer for her. It says, who shall offer it Slacky, I'll read that again, because it continues on. It says, "And when the days of her purifying are fulfilled for a son or for a daughter, she shall bring a lamb of the first year for a burnt offering, and a young pigeon or a turtle dove for a sin offering, unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation unto the priest, who shall offer it before the Lord, and make an atonement for her. And she shall be cleansed from the issue of her blood. This is the law for her that hath borne a male or a female." Now, one thing I want to say is, the 33 days or the 66 days, I mean, there's maternity leave, but in a lot of cases, you're just not going to be able to do this. Like, you just can't do this in a lot of cases. In a lot of cases, you can. So, Lord willing, if you can do it, then do it. But in a lot of cases, that's a lot of time where you just might not be able to do that. Right? So that is what it is. If you, like I say, if you can do it, you need to diligently keep those commandments. You need to do it. Right? But if you can't do it, He has mercy, of course. Now, like I say, I'm not giving you an outing here. It's not even my authority to do that. So if you were to take my words and say you have an outing, then that's just off. But I'm not teaching that, oh, cool, He has mercy, so yeah, I can do it, but I'm not gonna. But He has mercy, so it's cool. No, if you can do it, you're supposed to do it, right? But if you can't, then there's mercy. But if you can do it and you don't, that's transgressing, okay? It says, verse 8, "And if she be not able to bring a lamb, then she shall bring 2 turtles or 2 young pigeons, the one for the burnt offering and the other for a sin offering." So she's supposed to bring a young pigeon or a turtle dove anyway. So, and the lamb as well. The turtle dove or the young pigeon for the sin offering, the lamb for the burnt offering. If she can't bring a lamb, she can't afford it, she doesn't have one, whatever the case may be, then she'll just double up. She'll bring 2 turtle doves or 2 pigeons, and one of the turtle doves or pigeons will suffice for the burnt offering. Once again, that's a case of, if she can bring a lamb, she's supposed to bring a lamb. Don't think, oh, I've got this lamb, but lamb's expensive, I don't want to give it up, you know, this is the only lamb I got, I'm just going to bring a turtle dove instead. No, that's off. You were commanded to bring a lamb even if you have 1 lamb. So, but if she doesn't have any and she just can't get a lamb, then here's the mercy. Bring a turtle dove or a pigeon. Bring 2. So that one can be the burnt offering and one can be the sin offering, as it would be anyway. Okay, verse 8. "And if she be not able to bring a lamb, then she shall bring 2 turtles or 2 young pigeons, the one for the burnt offering and the other for a sin offering, and the priest shall make an atonement for her, and she shall be clean." Okay, so that's Leviticus chapter 12. You know, some overlooked laws. Oftentimes, you know, we think about fringes every day. We think about dietary law every day. We think about Sabbath days, holy days, but we don't think about these. Because like I said in the last one, this is our day-to-day. This is how we live our life. We're supposed to know these things. We're supposed to understand these things, and it's supposed to be part of our daily routine. Yeah, our women aren't giving birth every day, but when you get your woman pregnant, this thing should be on your mind, right? So when she gives birth, this is what we got to do. You got to know how long. It should just be something that you know. Like, yeah, nowadays we can go into the Bible and we can read it, and like, oh, what was I supposed to do in this case? Yeah, cool. That's there's nothing wrong with that. That's what it's there for. But remember, the big focus, especially if you watched my Back to Basics? Or was it my Friday breakdown? Or it might have just been a random lesson, but I talked about the famine of the word. I believe the video is called, "Are You Tiring? You Need to Stop," right? I talk about how the goals should be in this time. The goal should be one of the goals anyway, should be to translate this from here to here, right? So these things we should know, right? Not everyone's going to be a doctor in the law, but we need to at least know some laws, man. It's not good enough to just know the basic few. We should. It would be good to know this. You feel me? Like, to know if someone pulled up on you and said, "Hey, what if a woman gives birth? What then? What are the proceedings?" You should know this. This is our heritage. People know their heritage. Esau knows about his Christmas, and Esau knows about his damn maternity leaves and stuff. He knows about this stuff, man. Moab knows how to fry a dog, right? Damn, Ham knows how to put a plate in his mouth, right? Ishmael knows how to blow himself up, right? That was a little far, but hey, they do that. Ishmael knows how to walk around and worship a big stone in Mecca, right? So we should know our heritage. We should know we should know our laws, our customs, how we live. We're supposed to get back to that. So we've fallen away from our heritage. We need to make our way back, because just like it says in Jeremiah 17:04. Right, watch this. Everyone knows this. It's a classic, right? Jeremiah chapter 17 verse 4. It says, "And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee." So we discontinued from the heritage that he gave us. What is the heritage that he gave us? Let's go to Sirach, also known as Ecclesiasticus, or Ecclesiasticus, also known as Sirach, chapter 17, verse 11. Let's see what the heritage that he gave us was. All right, this is precept upon precept right here. If you've ever seen it, all praises to the Most High. The verbiage is amazing. I always talk about how verbiage is brilliant in the Bible, right? What's the verbiage, as in how this is worded? Ecclesiasticus, also known as Sirach, chapter 17, verse 11. "Beside this, he gave them knowledge and the law of life for an heritage." So the heritage that he gave us is the law of life. Notice it said, "Beside this, he gave them knowledge and the law of life for an heritage." He gave them the law of life for an heritage. It says, Jeremiah 17:4, "And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee." See that? So we need to get back to our heritage. We need to know our heritage, know our customs, know our laws, our judgments, our statutes, you know? And I'm not saying I'm a master of it. I'm not saying I'm a doctor of it, you know? But damn, I'm really on that vibe lately. He's really put it on my spirit that to know these laws. And a lot of brothers that know me will know that when I first started keeping these commandments, one thing that I was passionate about was I wanted to know the laws and the judgments. I just wanted to know how to pull them all out and just like, hey, if this happens, this is what you do. That happens, this. I want it to be like that. Like, just be nice with the law, and that's really the type of spirit that I exhort brothers to be in. But we've got to learn these laws well, because there's going to be a time where we're not going to have our Bibles, most of us. Lord willing, we do, you know, that would be a blessing from Yahweh Ba'Shem HaMashiach Yahweh Shai. There's going to be a time where you might not have your Bible and you're out there in the damn country, because you won't be in the city. You won't survive in the city. You'll be out in the country, living off the land best you can, and the Lord will provide for you, of course. But you need to know your laws in that case, right? Because guess what? If you get your wife pregnant while you're out there and she has birth, it's like if she gives birth, you're going to be in a position where you can keep these laws now, because there's no restrictions from Esau. You can keep her separate for that period. So you need to know that, hey, I don't have my Bible, but how long is she supposed to? And, you know, obviously the priest won't be giving offerings and things, but we can rehearse these righteous acts, and we can give diligence. Let me get 2 Peter. Let me get 2 Peter right quick. Right, because there's a scripture also that says scarcely the righteous are saved, right? Meaning, like, it's going to be such a thin line. It's going to be such a fine cut. We need to make sure that we make it, right? This is 2 Peter chapter 1, verse 10. "Wherefore the rather, brethren, give diligence to make your calling and election sure," right? So we need to be diligently making sure our calling and election is sure. How do we do that? "Ye shall diligently keep the commandments of the Lord as he hath commanded thee," right? So we need to diligently do these things. Obviously, we need faith. I'm not saying we don't, but we need to diligently keep these commandments, right? We need to give diligence to make our calling and election sure. For if ye do these things, ye shall never fall, Salakia. If you do these things, right? So we need to do our best now, especially while things are getting hot. Iran just attacked Israel. World War III is right around the corner. With these things going on, you know the times, you know the signs, and if you've been in this truth any length, you see the prophecies unfolding in front of you. These things that we were told were going to happen, and we know that there's going to be a famine of the word where people will not have Bibles. It will be illegal to have a Bible, so chances are you won't have a Bible. So now is the time to really translate this from here to here. You need it in your mind, right? He even said, the law shall be in your heart. You need to write it in your heart, right? So you need to do your best to study this law and understand it. Day and night, study this law. Right, so with that, This has been Torah Monday number 2. Lord willing, we can bring many more of these out while we're still teaching. Barakatham. What for watching. Lord willing, someone was edified even just a little bit. And with that, I want to give Kal Halal Yahweh Ba'Hasham HaMashiach Yahweh Shai. Shalom.